Good morning, children. Our topic is transport of mineral salts. Transport of mineral salts. Yesterday we have discussed about the root pressure and the transpiration also. Today we are going to discuss about transport of mineral and salts. The mineral salts classified into two categories: micro and macro. Smaller and bigger. Okay, micro and macro. These type of nutrients are obtained from the soil, which are dissolved in state. These are all nutrients, macro and micro, are dissolved in state only in water. These nutrients are taken by the root hair. These nutrients are sodium chloride, magnesium sulfate. Okay, sodium chloride, magnesium sulfate. These are available in the form of ions, electrically charged ions. These are giving strength to the plant. That's why these are taken by the root hair by the diffusion mechanism. By the diffusion, you know the meaning of diffusion: movement of ions from higher concentration to lower concentration. So these ions will be diffused through the root hair and enter into the xylem vessels. Xylem vessels are carried these nutrients to the shoot region, apical part. Apical part means tip region, chivari bhagalu. Okay, so where the growth is taking place. Okay, to that areas these nutrients will be transported by this xylem conductive tissue. Okay, otherwise xylem vessels. Okay, xylem vessels carries these all minerals, salts, and water for purpose of growth. Okay, growth purpose. Okay, next one: transport of manufactured food. The bundle which is present in the middle of the stem, xylem as well as phloem, these are present in the veins of the leaf. Human being is having the veins as well as the leaves also having the veins, but these veins are different, that veins are different. Okay, are you following? So here these mm, veins are present in the leaves at the center. Okay, midrib, it is also called as a midrib. The veins of leaf consist of xylem and phloem. In the stem, in the middle only, even the leaf also middle only. But in the stem, it is in big size. In leaf, it is smaller in size, just like a straw, smaller size straw. So it is also called as rib, midrib. మధ్య ఈన అంటారు తెలుగులో, ఈనే మధ్య ఈనే. And this is consisting lateral veins also. It will supply the minerals and salts and water to the leaf also. Okay. Xylem vessels carries these all type of nutrients to the growth purpose as well as helping in the preparation of the food in photosynthesis process. Whereas the phloem is doing another activity, that is nothing but supplying the prepared food material. Okay, starch, that is called as starch. What was prepared, the starch, in the photosynthesis process will be transported in different parts of the plant body. Okay, biologists studied about the transportation of food in plants with the help of green flies. Generally, green flies may be seen on the plants and trees. Okay, the aphids, these are called as aphid, 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 APHID. It is simply known as green fly. Okay, these aphids or green flies will be formed on the branches or stem of these plants and trees for the purpose of food material. Purpose of food material. What type of food material is present in the branches and leaves, branches and stems of the trees? Plant juices, also called as cell sap. Okay, This plant juices will be taken by the aphids, green flies, with the help of needle-like structure. That needle-like structure is called as proboscis. 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 Okay. It is needle-like structure which is penetrating into the stem or branch of the plant or trees. Then it taken on the plant juices. The proboscis entered into the stem and or branch and collect the food material. Where the food material is available in the branch and stem? In phloem only, because phloem brings the starch from the leaves onwards and supply to all parts of the plant body. So this aphid penetrates its proboscis into the phloem only. Okay. Then from the phloem onwards, phloem sieves or tubes onwards, the food will be collected by the aphid. Okay. Scientists or biologists catches this aphids and find out what type of substance is present, food substance is present in proboscis and in its body, as well as they kill the aphid when this aphid is present on the tree only or plant only. So at it activity is nothing but to find out accurate process of the aphids, how it is taking the food materials. For that purpose, రెడ్ హ్యాండెడ్ అంటారు కదా తెలుగులో, మనం రెడ్ హ్యాండెడ్గా పట్టుకున్నారంటారు కదా చేస్తున్నప్పుడు, అట్లాగనే biologists also did same activity. When these aphids are collecting the food materials from the plants, they kill those organisms as it is. When there is, how it is there like that, they kill these organisms and found this proboscis entered into the phloem tissues, because phloem tissues supplies the this prepared food that is known as starch kada. And they cut the stem also, and this proboscis or needle-like structure of the green fly kept its proboscis up to the phloem tubes and collect the food material. Okay, collect the food material. So they section the stem of the plant and these kill the green flies also. So they understood by doing this activity, the proboscis, when it is inserted into the phloem tubes, it is taken the food material. What are the food material? The starch is consisting the sugars, liquid sugars. So the type of liquid sugars are collected by these scientists and observed. Okay, it is nothing but sugars only. So the type of sweet substance should be observed by the aphids, green flies. So it may not take entire food, but as per its intensive desire, it takes more and more quantity of the sugars, liquid sugars from the phloem tissues. So when they are touching this aphid in the stomach, there is food material, as well as excess amount of food material will be expelled outside from its body through this excretory organ, that is known as it is called as honeydew. It is not actually excretory substance, but as it intensity, okay, intensive desire, okay, otherwise more interest to take the food material or glucose, otherwise starch substance, liquid substance, is taken by itself, and excess amount is stored in the body, and excess is some amount of stored in body, and excess amount of this glucose will be expelled outside through the anus or excretory organ. Okay, that's why when we are touching this aphids, it is like sticky nature. In the same way, if we touch some parts of the plants where the aphids are present, then we have find out sticky nature of the leaves and stem like a camel gum. Okay, because of these sugars also. Okay. Okay, if it absorbs so much of sugars from the phloem, then it cannot assimilate in its body, and it will excrete through the anus. It is called as a honeydew. Okay, there is one more experiment to illustrate the conduction of sugars by the phloem in the plants. Okay, right. Shoot is consisting this bundles, xylem bundles, phloem bundles. It is called as conductive tissues. Okay, conductive tissue simply. So after removing the bark from this wood or stem, bark is removed. Some part 2-3 centimeters of the bark will be removed as in the form of ring. Okay, the proboscis is kept by the aphid up to phloem to collect the food material in the above figure, and down we have tried to understand. In this stem, the bark was removed as in the form of ring in the first and second. In the first we have seen, this is the first figure and this is the second figure. In the first figure, the bark was removed, understand, as in the form of ring. As in the form of ring, bark was removed from the stem. So after few days, they understood there is no growth downside, but the growth took place only, it is extended. The swollen region should be found by the biologists above the ring where the bark was removed on the stem. Are you following? So, in this way, they understood when the disturbance is taking place, otherwise, when they cut the bark of the stem, the tissues of the phloem will not supply the food materials to the lower region of the tree or plant. Then it was accumulated. The glucose or starch or food materials were accumulated where the bark was removed, and the upper part only will be appeared as a swollen region. Okay, but it is not growth. The prevention took place here. It was prevented by removing the bark. So when the bark was removed here, it was stopped. The food materials were stopped at this region, and it is a little bit swollen than the other one. It is normal only. The first figure, it is normal only. But after few days, the food material what is taken by the phloem tissue from the leaves will be passing to the other areas also. So it was stopped. It was stopped. Okay. So when it is stopped here, the phloem tissue, okay, when the supplying is stopped here, the phloem accumulates the food materials in this region only. That's why there is a little bit expansion than the first one. You can understand by seeing this figure also, right? Then, so the damage of phloem all around the stem will prevent the food from the passing down to the roots, and the tree will eventually die. కొద్ది రోజులు ఉంటుంది. After few days again, okay, if there is no supply of food materials to the trees or plants, definitely it will die, because what was prepared by the trees and plants, that material, food material, if it is not supplied to the lower region of the plant and trees, definitely it will die. This is the fact of great economic importance becomes certain mammals scratching the bark. అంటే యు నో ద rodents, ఎలుకలు. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ బండికూట్ అంటే పందికొక్కులు. స్మాల్ ర్యాట్స్ ఆర్ వోల్స్ అంటారు ఇట్లనే, VOLES, వోల్స్, ర్యాట్స్ అండ్ స్క్విరల్స్, rabbits. These are all are called as, of course these are all belongs to mammal phylum only, but as per the nature of lifestyle these are called as rodent. అంటే ఏంటి rodent అంటే RODE ఏంటి, డెంట్ పళ్ళు, rodent, the long teeth, you know the long teeth in these organisms to scratch of the bark and destroy the stem, because these all depend on only plants for the purpose of food. How bark will be removed and food will be taken, plant juices will be taken by those organisms, especially rodents, voles, okay, and bandicoot, then rabbits, etc. will next okay, like those organisms will destroy these plants. That's why foresters are found a new technique which will control this growth of these organisms. Those are predators. Okay, the predators, when they are living in these fields, the predators will not disturb the plants, but it will disturb the growth of the rodents. Okay, those are predators. Predators అంటే తెలుసు కదా, PREDATOR. Predator means the organism which depend on other organism for the purpose of food. Tiger, lion, etc. Okay, many more are there, but I am saying only two examples. Those are called as predators. Here also fox, badger, hawk and wolves, OWLS, help to keep the control the population of these rodents. Okay, next gray squirrel, uduta. Gray squirrel also will do great damage to the plants. Okay, especially in beach and seashores, those type of organisms doing the great loss to some type of trees which are present in the seashore region. Especially it is called as in our mother tongue సరుగుడు అంటారు అనమాట, సరుగుడు ట్రీ, సరుగుడు చెట్లు అంటారు. ఓకే, ఇన్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఆఫ్ హౌసెస్ ద పీపుల్ విల్ అరేంజ్ ద పోల్స్ టు కీప్ ద సర్వే బాదులు అంటారు కదా, సర్వే బాదులు అంటారు. ఓకే, లైక్ దోస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ పోల్స్ విల్ అరేంజ్ ఇన్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ద హౌసెస్. పైన స్లాబ్ వేసేటప్పుడు పోల్స్ పెడతారు, పైన ప్లేట్లు పెడతారు కదా, దోస్ ఆల్ పోల్స్ ఆర్ ఓకే బిలాంగ్స్ టు దిస్ ఓన్లీ సరుగుడు. ఇట్ ఈస్ called as Christmas tree also. In Christmas function, those trees will be decorated with lights, balloons, etc. Okay, that type of trees were damaged by this gray squirrel, especially in beach areas. That's why foresters are used these type of predators to control this type of rodents, which is going to do the more damage to the greenery. Okay, so in this lesson we understood some important topics. That is, what is the topic? Transportation. Okay, in transportation chapter we have studied about human being as well as other organisms also, how the transportation evolved, changed from one stage to another stage, from the microorganisms to invertebrates, from invertebrates to vertebrates, as well as human being, mammal, later on plants also. Okay, about plants also we are studied. That is important. Okay, so by this we have to conclude it. third chapter. Maybe if it's possible tomorrow, I will give you the most important topic, that is excretion, fourth chapter. Okay, and 30% of syllabus is going to use it as the project works, experiments, etc. And 30% may not come in examination, whereas 70% of portion will be remain. That 70% of portion only will be given in exam, public exam. Okay, that entire detail will be given to you soonly. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.